So let's make a change to our project and then look at how we can remove that change so that we can kind of roll back to the last state.
So let's add another print statement in our view.did_load, and this time let's print out goodbye world. So with this, and when I click save in the file, notice how the M comes back on the left-hand side saying this file has actually been modified. So with this, Git gives us a very great power that I've used many times in the past. It allows us to roll back our changes or discard all of our changes. So you can do this in a couple different ways. The first way, you could go up to the source control menu bar and click discard all changes. You have that option to basically go nuclear. Discard all changes will discard everything to the last commit. Or two things down is discard changes in viewController.swift. Instead of the nuclear option, this is more like a scalpel. This allows you to just remove all the changes in this particular file since the last commit. There's those ways, or you can also right-click on the file in the file inspector.
Control click because we don't have right-click on, right? There we go.
And then we can navigate down to source control and click discard changes in view controller. So I'm going to do this now, and notice that I've added goodbye world into our code and I haven't committed that yet. It asks if we want to discard our changes in viewController.swift, saying it's final because it just wipes it from history. Click discard changes and notice what happens. It deletes goodbye world. If I had made more changes to goodbye world that I have yet to commit, it would have also rolled those back.
So let's do, I'd like to do two changes. One I'm going to keep, one I'm going to get rid of. So I'm going to go back here and say print goodbye world again. And then I'm going to save that, and we get our M to say it's been modified. Then I'm going to go to the main storyboard, and I am going to say drag a button out. And I'm going to discard the change I made to the storyboard, but I'm going to do this when I'm doing the commit. So I'm going to go up to commit, and we notice that we have, I'm going to drag this a little bigger, on our main storyboard we have an indication, and then on view controller we have an indication that there's modifications. I also notice only one of these is checked. What does that mean?
So when you have a file checked in this pane, means that only those files will actually be committed. So right now, with only viewController.swift selected or toggled on, only that file will actually be committed. So in this instance, we could actually click on the toggle next to main storyboard to say both of these files would be in this commit.
And let's just leave them checked, but let's say, oh, I look, storyboard's changed and I really didn't want the storyboard to change. So I could control click and say discard changes. And now that change has been removed, and in fact it's no longer in the list at all because we removed it. And I'm actually going to cancel out of this, and if I go back to the storyboard, that in fact is gone. So that is not a step that it requires commit to happen. When you discard the change, it's removing it from the project even if you didn't commit.
And let's go back to our viewController.swift, navigate up to our source control button, and commit again, and let's look at what happens when I click viewController.swift and see the changes. On the left-hand side, we see what's actually been changed. On the right-hand side, we see what was there in the previous state. And notice we have a little box in the middle of it. I can select that, and we can actually discard changes on a line basis. So if I had another change, and you can actually make a change in this pane as well, this is just another text editor. I'm going to do it both for hello world, print world. So now I have two changes in our viewController.swift file, and I can actually, with very good precision, get rid of the change that I want to get rid of. And notice now we are no longer committing goodbye world. We only have our print world there now. And I can even uncheck this file change, and that will no longer be committed if we had another commit there. Since we have no changes now, it will not actually let us commit anything. But if, for instance, our goodbye world was back again, I could do that again, just like I said earlier. This pane is just another version of the text editor, so we can actually see and make changes here. And I could put my commit message in, and then I could commit it. And it's still not letting me commit it because notice on the left-hand side it's unchecked again. So we still need to check that. And then commit one file.
So we didn't do this commit yet, and we do have changes because there's an M. If I go up to source control and try to push this, can I push this to the server in this state?
You can still push this to the server. What it will do is just push the last commit that has actually occurred to the server.
So if I come back here, I just did a push, and I refresh this page, we do not see these changes.
Right.
Because they didn't get committed, and so they weren't part of the push. So let's finish this out by actually committing the changes that we have and then pushing it to the server.
Do we want to commit and push both changes or just a single change?
Let's choose to only do one of them.
All right, let's get rid of world. So I'm going to uncheck that. So because I don't want to actually delete it, I just don't want to commit it. Our message says, say goodbye world. I'm going to commit this one file, and this is only going to commit our goodbye world print statement.
So it's committed. It's not on the server yet, right?
Right.
And it's currently in the step of committing, so we'll let it finish first. So again, commits are only local changes. They need to be pushed to the server in order for it to be on the server.
Notice that our changes are all still there, but notice the view controller still has an M on it because we didn't commit our print world statement.
And we refresh on GitHub and still don't have either of those changes.
Because we have yet to actually push this commit. We've just committed it. It hasn't been pushed yet. So go up to source control in the menu bar, click push, do our push on origin master, push successful. Now if we navigate back to GitHub and refresh that page, goodbye world's there, but our print world statement isn't.